No, I was just thinking. There are sometimes when, and we thought this must have happened to everybody. You know, when just before Christmas time, and when you were younger, and you spent like a good 6 months. It was never the full year. It was about 6 months solid of hinting to your parents about what you wanted for Christmas. Um, and for me, who has a birthday about 2 weeks after Christmas, so I usually get like a Christmas present and a birthday present just underneath the tree. So used to spend like uh, used to spend like a good 6 months just hinting what you wanted. And the first time it worked. The first time you got those kind of roller skates that you wanted, um, and you know, when you got that remote control car that you wanted when you were like 8. So now that you're 13 or so, you think, you know what, fuck it, yeah. I'm the man when it comes to this hinting shit. So I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna try and hint for what I want. So that Christmas comes and look under the tree and it's about the size of the same sort of thing that you want. You start to get yourself all excited, you start to make plans for whatever present it is. Then come the 24th, you do that thing where you kind of just feel the present and it feels a little different, but you think to yourself, yeah, it's got to be it. It's about the right size, about the right shape. It kind of does feel like it could possibly be it. And then on the 25th, you run downstairs all excited. You get all your sisters up as well because you know that your mum won't let you open your presents without having the rest of your dad's sisters there as well. So then when you start rummaging through your parents, you start getting really excited, and as you're unwrapping and unwrapping, then you pull out a sock. And you stare at the sock for a second and think, no, it can't just be socks. So you rummage through, and you find another packet of socks. And you rummage through, and then you find just clothes. Yeah, that's actually happened to me before. But then you think to yourself, okay, I know I've got a birthday in 2 weeks. Maybe I'm gonna get that present within the next 2 weeks. So then 2 weeks comes, and then you open your present, only to find that it's something useful, along with a bit of money. And you think to yourself, huh, so what happened to the thing that I hinted for? The only reason I tell you this is because that was the way I felt after seeing Hangover 3. You know? I knew, after the classic that the first one was, I knew it was a terrible idea to just go off the success of that first film and attempt to make sequels. You know? And then when you heard it was going to be in Bangkok, you started thinking, shit, what kind of wild shit could I get up to in Bangkok? And then obviously you knew it had something to do with Ladyboys, and then start getting yourself more and more excited. You started to hear people who were potentially being drafted to this film. You heard of people like Mel Gibson, who nobody likes Mel Gibson these days, but you know, clearly these motherfuckers were going all out if they were trying to get somebody like a Mel Gibson to have a cameo role within the film. And then obviously the cast put up a fuss about Mel Gibson being in the film, which I can understand so, which I can understand I should say. Thought to myself, alright, cool. If they're not going to have Mel Gibson, who are they going to have? Oh, maybe it could be Liam Neeson. They were drafting Liam Neeson in. And I like Liam Neeson um, as an actor, well, really, since the Taken days. And I'll get back to that Taken film in a second. Um, but you know, when I started hearing that he's going to be in the film because of the whole connection with Bradley Cooper, I thought, cool. I want to see how Liam Neeson, how he's going to attempt to be funny in this film. And then I started getting all excited, and then I started watching Hangover 2. I was like, huh. the socks analogy. I watched the film and I was just like, I don't understand. I've just seen this film. Isn't this Hangover 1? Just in Bangkok. I've never felt so disappointed in a sequel in all my life. The thing is, it wasn't a bad film. The terrible thing about that film was that they had no desire or imagination to make it any different to the first one. It was just lazily written. And that was the biggest problem that I had with that film. And then, so I thought, okay, they made a number 2, they're gonna make a number 3. And I like the birthday analogy, you know. Maybe my mum didn't want to spend all her money on a Christmas present. More of a significant present would be a birthday present. So I waited those 2 weeks, just like I waited those 2 years for the third film. You know, and I thought I was hearing rumors of how they were going to break Alan out of the mental hospital. Oh, by the way, going back to the second film, there weren't no Mel Gibson. There weren't even no Liam Neeson. It was just some regular schmuck that was playing the role of a tattooist. It was so anticlimactic. I think that's the perfect way of describing it. It was such an anticlimactic feel to that film. To the point where there was so much anticipation for what the film would produce. So when I watched it, it was just like, what the fuck is this? So then I waited 2 weeks and I started hearing up stories about how they were going to break Alan out of a mental institution and how they were going to do this, that, and the other. I thought, okay, cool. Clearly they're going to make it completely different. And I watched Hangover last weekend. I was just like, oh, they made it different, but it weren't good. I really disliked it. Like, I think there was so much focus on it going back full circle. And it came across as really cheesy and really bad. You know, I just... There was way too much fucking focus on Chow. Like, way too much focus on Chow. Like, I'm not being funny. If you've not learned how to deal with this motherfucker by the end of the first film, how is he still the main focus throughout the 3 films? It seems baffling to me that would happen. That was the first mistake that they made. The second mistake that they made is they made Doug be captured again. Oh my days. Why couldn't they could have thrown a curveball by making Doug some sort of be involved in some of the craziness, like just some sort of epic conclusion. This was no epic final encounter like they advertised it. They could have done it so much differently. It was such an anticlimactic trilogy, considering that the first one will always go down as a classic. It was the Taken syndrome, you know? Like Taken is another one that does that sort of shit, where, you know, the first film was considered to be a classic. Then they made the grave error of making a number 2. Now, we're gonna fucking see a number 3. Think number 3 is gonna be any good? Fuck no. It's the studios that put pressure on writers to make... And you know what? This is the thing. You know, power to someone like Seth Rogen and Judd Apatow and Evan Goldberg and all those motherfuckers that made oh gosh, I've forgotten that fucking film they made. Oh my days, it's actually got out of my head. You lot know the fucking film I'm trying to write. I'll remember it shortly. You lot know. was so much pressure on them to make a second film, and they didn't. They stayed true. You know why? Because they never had an original plan to make a number two. So what's the point making a number two if they couldn't make a number one? So embarrassing though. I forgot the name of that film, but it's a classic. I'm getting old. That's my excuse. I'll remember it and I'll put it in the description for you guys that are like, huh? The fuck is he talking about? On Wikipedia, you know. But that film was a classic. And they didn't make a number two. They stayed true to it. They said no. And they could have easily done it because there was a way of doing it. But they said no, we don't have a plan to make a number two, so we're not going to just because the first film was successful. We planned for the first film to be successful. Full stop. And I think that's the problem with Hangover director, the Taken. In fact, the Taken 1, the director of Taken 1 refused. They said no, fuck that. She ain't making no Taken 2. She didn't design for the film to be go into a second film. It was only ever supposed to be a first film. So I just wanted to get that off my chest because it was just a frustration of mine after seeing this film. I hated it. It was a D minus at best. I just wanted to show that, to share that with you guys, and just say if you're gonna see it because you're a Hangover fan, fair enough. If you're a casual fan and you've never seen Hangover, but you thought you might see number three, don't bother. Don't bother. Just watch the first film. The next two are god awful. I thought I'd just share that with you guys now. Comment, subscribe, like this video. Take care. Peace.